Happy Saturday, everyone. We got some fun times coming your way today, so I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna go upside down. We're gonna work on a few handstands today, so it's gonna be a good time. But before we get to that, let's talk about our day today. Our work set and our warm-up is gonna consist of a lot of upper body work. So we're gonna take our time with a plank to down dog with toe touch for 3 to 5 reps. Quad plank for 10 to 30 seconds. Prone shoulder raise for 6 to 10 alternating reps again. Working on that individual arm and side for a couple second holds per side. Floor pike hold for 10 to 30 seconds, and then an arch hold for 10 seconds aside. So we're gonna work that alternating arch hold to work on and continue that unilateral work. 2 to 3 rounds just to get everything fired up, ready to go. We're gonna move into our bottom piece, which is gonna consist of a little bit of dumbbell work and a little bit more upper body work. So we got our dumbbell tempo hang power clean for 3 to 5 per side. The tempo is on the way down to the knee. So that would be nice and slow, and then speed on the way up to get ourselves ready to go for that clean. Into an inchworm of 3 to 5 reps, just out to a plank and then back in. So we're just gonna wake up and warm up those arms to get some walking in. Scap push up for 5 to 10 from a plank or table, and then plank lean for 10 to 20 alternating reps for 3 to 5 rounds. Just kind of really fire up those arms and get things ready to go. If you know you need a little bit more time overhead and you're like, I am kicking up or I am walking into a handstand, if you'd like to practice that a little bit in this phase here, please do so after all the upper body stuff and just add that in to get a little overhead practice. Please do that. Or if you're like, nah, I can choose one of the other options, but I would like to practice it a little bit before the workout starts, then also throw that in there as well if you'd like to. So the workout today though, the workout. Little descending ladder. So we have 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 dumbbell hang power clean. Total count, all right, with that work set. Now I'll explain the rep schemes with different kind of dumbbell options for you guys as we go. But in between each of those rounds, you're gonna do a 30 to 60 second handstand hold. So there's a range there of 30 to 60 seconds. So you can take this any way you like, in the sense of you can accumulate the 60 seconds or the 30 seconds or whatever time frame you have, or you can adjust your times as the rounds progress depending on how solid you feel overhead. So if you start at 60 seconds and you can do that for the 15 and the 12 round, but then all of a sudden your shoulders are starting to kind of disengage, maybe you only hold 45 seconds and work on that handstand hold for quality position, all right, and engagement, opposed to always kind of dedicating yourself to 60 seconds. You have that range today if you'd like to play with that a little bit and adjust your times to see how that goes as your workout progresses, okay? Or rest, kick back up and bank that extra 15 seconds necessary to get the minute. So it's up to you on how you want to take down that handstand hold, depending on how comfortable you are upside down and in those positions. So we got a cool little work set, 15 down to 3 with a nice handstand hold or handstand hold option in between each set of cleans. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna have some fun overhead today. We're gonna turn your world upside down. Let's have some fun today. Hey guys, let's warm up. Let's get those feet under those hips. Let's take the arms big and tall up overhead. And we're just gonna start with a few shrugs. So we're gonna keep those arms straight, ribs in, lose our neck, and then we're gonna pull the shoulders back down. And then we're gonna lose our neck, and then pull the shoulders back down. Lose our neck, and then pull back down. Good. Bring the hands down behind the neck. Ribs are in. Reach with an elbow. Come down. Reach with the elbow. Come down. Reach with the elbow. Down. And reach. And down. One more time. Reach. And down. And reach. And down. Big stretch overhead. We're going to clasp our fingers. Big press. Reach those arms straight ahead, rounding out that upper back a little bit, opening up those shoulders. Feel that open upper back. Take the arms up overhead, big stretch. And stretch. And we'll take it all the way down to the floor, touching those toes. We'll walk up the shins. We'll come down, plant both hands. We're gonna step back into our plank, pulling our ribs and hips in. We'll pull into our down dog, reaching those hips back. We're going to lower back into our plank and then lower our knees to the floor. In this position, we're going to keep our ribs in tight, arms straight. We're going to lift our thumbs. We're going to lift up onto that first knuckle as best we can, and then gonna sit back into our heels, nice and tall through the chest, arms are straight, pull the hands back and down, pull back and down, back and down, and back and down. Grip the floor, come back into our table, curl those toes under, extend up into our down dog, reaching those hips, walk those heels back and forth, nice and gentle. Just weight things up a little bit. Come back into our plank. We're going to tiptoe those feet up. Roll ourselves all the way up. Big stretch. Little reach. Yeah. Reach. Yeah. Come back down with those hands. Whew. And get you guys ready for action. All right? If you would like to pause the video and take down some lizard lunge with rotation, some twist, whatever you'd like to do, cat-cows, add that in, have some fun, pause the video, do that up for yourself, and then come join me for a little bit more fun in that overhead position. So we're going to spend some time working on our nice overhead and some upper body and core love. We're going to kickstart off with a plank to down dog with toe touch. So we're going to kind of play around with a 3-point balance position. So our hands are going to come underneath of our shoulders, and we're going to press our shoulders up, pulling those ribs and hips in. We're going to hold that good plank position. Then we're going to pull back. We're going to soften through those knees, through those hips. And we're going to get into that nice overhead position. My armpits are wrapping around my body, so I get that nice, strong, stable shoulder. I'm going to take my hand, and I'm going to reach for my foot. If I can't touch it, that's okay. And then I'm going to plant it. And then I'm going to reach for the other side, and I'm going to plant it. And then come in to that nice, solid plank, pressing the shoulders up, pulling the ribs in, and then move into that next rep. The key thing here, everyone, is I want you to make sure that before you take that arm off the floor, that other arm is fastened and secured into the floor, into that down dog. So we want to make sure that that is stable and set before we take away a point of balance. All right, so really focus on that engagement. Don't rush through those. All right, really set the shoulders and set that position. Big thing with the hands for 99% of our work today, I want you to think about those nice wide fingers gripping the floor for everything we do here today. After the plank to down dog with toe touch, we're going to move into a quad plank. So we're going to come into our tabletop where we can still practice those wide fingers, that nice grip through the floor, and our knees under our hips, hands under the shoulders. We're going to pull the ribs in, press the shoulders up, and then lift the knees about an inch off the floor. We're going to hold that position as we pull everything into the center. So I'm actively pulling back with this arm and that upper body so I can feel those lats kick on and I can feel that tension pull through my core. It's a lot of work and it's tiring, so keep in mind when you start activating and pulling in, you may not be able to hold as long as you normally could because we're turning those muscles on a little bit more and a little bit more fatigued. So we have a 10 to 30 second count there, and then we're going to lower to our stomach, which we're going to work on our prone hip extension. So our prone shoulder raise. That's what we're doing. Prone shoulder raise. So we're going to bring our arms out to the front. Toes are together. And I want you to embrace the idea of doing this picture perfect handstand in the middle of the room. So when I get myself set up here, I'm going to squeeze my toes together, press them into the floor to get that engagement. I'm going to pull the ribs and hips in, press the armpits down, press the hands down. I have all this tension built up through my body, and I want you guys to imagine in the middle of the room you're holding this picture perfect handstand. Then from here, we're going to maintain this tension, and I'm going to reach with my right arm, maintaining that good hollow tension body, and then lower and reset, and then lift with my other side, and lower and reset. And then I'm going to rest, because that's a lot of work to maintain that tension. So I'm totally fine with experimenting with holding. I had the classes on Zoom the other day do this, where we held that position for 5 seconds. Then we lifted the arm, held for a few seconds down, lift the other side down, relaxed, and we did 3 cycles of that instead of going for the 10 reps, because we're getting a little bit more time under tension with that pressure down in that 5-second hold. It's very challenging, but you can build a lot of body awareness with that hold and that tension. So again, imagine you're in that nice vertical handstand working through those positions. After we're done the prone shoulder raise, we're gonna move back into our table, but we're gonna bring our knees together and our toes are gonna be curled under. My hands are gonna be under my shoulders, wide fingers gripping the floor. We're gonna press the shoulders up and pull the ribs in. And then from here, I'm gonna press my hips up to the ceiling, keeping my shoulders over my hands, and I'm gonna keep pressing into the floor. Armpits towards my toes, eyes are looking towards my toes, and I'm holding that nice strong overhead position, that little handstand. I'm gonna hold that engagement for 10 to 30 seconds. And we wanna again make sure that when we're holding that, we're banking good times. So that shoulder is active, we're turned on through the lats, we're pulled in through the core. If you feel anything disengage, come out of it. Rest a bit and then go back into it, or call it a day at that time frame that you had to come out of it. Because we wanna make sure we're banking good engagement time. So take your time with that, set up well, and then rock that hold. Because right after that, we get to lay down again. So we're gonna lay down on our stomach, and we're gonna work on that unilateral work again with that arch hold. So I'm gonna get nice and straight, toes together, and then I'm gonna work an alternating arch hold. So I'm gonna reach with my right hand, left leg, trying to get as long as I can. I'm gonna hold this for 10 seconds. Then I'll come down, take a moment, reset, other side. I'm gonna hold for 10 seconds. Just working on that lengthening and that nice straight body position. I want you to think about length over height, because with that length and engagement, you will find height, all right? It's not just going to kind of pinch you off at your low back. You're gonna think about lengthening and extending that spine force. Quick little recap for you guys. We have a plank to down dog toe touch for 3 to 5 reps, quad plank for 10 to 30 seconds, prone shoulder raise for 6 to 10, alternating reps at a 1 to 2 second hold, or what we talked about in our warm-up sequence there. Floor pike hold, 10 to 30 seconds, arch hold, 10 seconds per side, and then 2 to 3 rounds taking that down to work those positions necessary for our handstands later on in the work set. Pause the video, take that down, have some fun with that, get yourself ready. If you want to add in a little bit of extra hand and wrist maintenance, please do so. That's always going to be beneficial moving forward into our work set. Our next phase of work is going to involve a dumbbell tempo hang power clean and a little bit of handstand work. So I'm going to grab my dumbbell and we'll get right back to you. All right, I got my dumbbell ready to go. So our dumbbell tempo hang power clean is going to be taken from that high hang position. The tempo is going to be the lower to the knee, so in that hinge position. So it's going to be, feet are going to be under the hips or just outside. I'm going to take the hips back. It's going to be a 3, 2, 1 to the knee, and then we're going to drive and land in that power position. And then come back down and do it again. I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can see that profile position. But again, we want to focus our weight being through our midfoot. As I take the hips back in that 3-second tempo, my body's in that good hinge position. I'm taking it to the knee, and then from there, as I drive through the legs, I'm going to keep that dumbbell close to the body as I pull under the dumbbell into that power stance. So again, 3, 2, 1. I can give a little pause here by the leg, drive, and stand tall. So from here, I switch sides. I've got 3 to 5 per side. And just remember, it's a nice smooth hinge to the knee, and then drive through, pulling into that power position. If you're using 2 dumbbells, that's fine. 3 to 5 total count reps with both dumbbells, still working that tempo and that smooth flow down to the knee or launch position. Once we're done those 3, we're gonna move into an inchworm. And our inchworm today is just gonna be walking out to our plank, showing control, and then walking back in. So I'm going to start with my feet relatively together. I can take the arms up if I like overhead as an extra little shoulder kind of warm up. I'm going to hinge, keeping my legs as straight as I can, just touch on those hamstrings. Then I'm going to walk my hands out into that good plank, pulling those ribs and hips in, shoulders come up, and then maintaining that shoulder engagement as I walk back in, take it all the way back up. Big stretch if I like. Come back down for round 2. I like adding in the overhead stretch because it just helps open up the shoulder and gives it that overhead time, just a little bit of rest and kind of wake up for that next rep. The big thing as we're walking out in this inchworm, we want to make sure that we're pushing that hand into the floor and setting that nice solid plank so that we're not loosey-goosey in the arms. So as we land with that hand, our arm is locked out strong and active when we're putting our hands down to the floor. After our inchworm reps, we have our scap push up, and we can do this from a table or a plank. The movement is the same. The only difference is you may find a little more core engagement necessary for that plank variation. So my hands are just outside my shoulders. I'm nice and stacked at my table. My ribs are in. Pressing my shoulders to the sky, and then I'm keeping my arms straight. I'm going to pull my shoulders together, pulling my body closer to the floor, and pressing up. Keeping my core engaged the entire time I do this. We want to make sure we're keeping that engagement. It's really easy just to focus on the shoulders and then forget about the midsection. So I find myself doing that often, and I have to remind myself to keep turning that rib on and pulling that rib and hip in together. So just keep track of that. If you're like, oh, they're not on, turn them on. It's okay. It's just one of those things because we're so focused on the shoulder that sometimes that turns off. Now, moving into the plank variation, we really do need this to stay on the entire time, or else we'll get a little sag through the midsection. So with our plank scap push-up, it's the same setup, except we're in a plank, we're holding that position, keeping the arms straight, we pull and press. Pull and press. Keeping the head neutral, moving with the body, and making sure that I keep my glutes turned on and my core on so I don't get that sagging midline. So take your time, don't rush to that toe scap push-up. In between, we have another variation where we use one leg sticking out. So we get ourselves set up in that table, and then we extend one leg. So we put a little bit more load on the shoulders and the core. You can do half reps, switch side, half reps. And that's a nice transitional phase building into that full plank. So if you want to stick that one leg out, work on that positioning, that's fine. Build that conditioning in that core and that shoulder. After our scap push-up, we're going to work into our plank lean, and we're just going to work the two directions, left and right today. So I'm going to start facing the camera. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips in, press the shoulders up, and I'm going to lean, keeping my shoulders over my hands, making sure that my body is following my shoulders lead. I'm engaging through the upper body and the arms, and that's what's pulling my body along with it. So we're not separating and guiding with the hips and my upper body staying still. We're pulling with the arms and everything comes with. All right? Challenging movement. Take it only as far as your wrists and your hands can allow. All right? And take your time with that little pause per side to show control. It's always nice too to do a couple reps cat-cow, a couple reps cat-cow, just to kind of open up the shoulders and the body a little bit from being in that nice tight plank. Quick recap for you guys. We have a dumbbell tempo hang power clean for 3 to 5 per side, or 3 to 5 with 2 dumbbells. Inchworm 3 to 5 reps, taking your time to work on that engagement, walking your hands out with that kind of punch the floor. Scap push up for 5 to 10 reps, table or toes. Plank lean for 10 to 20 alternating, working on that little pause per side, 3 to 5 rounds. Take that down, it's going to prime you guys up really well. Remembering, if you want to practice a little bit of handstand work at the end of those leans, please be my guest. It'll help build that skill moving into the work set. Now, the workout today, we have our dumbbell hang power clean. So we have a couple different options with this rep scheme. It's an odd number, moving into some even numbers, I know, but we have a few options in terms of how to take this down. The dumbbell hang power clean movement is the exact same as if we were doing it in the warm-up, minus the tempo. But you might find that that smooth pull to the knee might just allow you to kind of gather your cardio a little bit and your lungs a little bit so that you can recover a little bit smoother. But don't worry about a true 3-second tempo to the knee every single rep, because that'll tucker you out a little bit. But what we're going to do, we have two options with the single dumbbell. We can work on taking it from the side or from between the knees, depending on how you feel. With the single dumbbell, I like working from between the knees. It's just that it has kind of a flow, just like whenever I do snatches, but I'm just coming to the shoulder. So we can work on alternating, so that'd be 1, 2, and then total count reps to 15. Or with a single dumbbell, you can work on keeping it half and half. So you take it for 8 reps on one side, and then 7 on the other, and then you just half it as you go. So half and half. And if you have 2 dumbbells, well, you'll just do the numbers as is up on the board, 2 dumbbells going through that rep scheme. So a couple different options for you in terms of how to take that down. All right, either half and half or alternating reps as you go. So the alternating the reps as you go will definitely save your grip strength as you move forward into those other rounds. But it's always nice to play around back and forth. We do a lot of alternating work with the snatches, so this is a nice chance to play with that or really work that grip strength and do half reps and half reps. After that though, we have our handstand options. So we have a few different options for you guys to play with this handstand. One of which is a handstand. So we can do a kick up, back to wall handstand, or we can do a walk up to a vertical handstand, wall facing, or a wall angle hold, which is that kind of handstand at 45 degrees, which is really good to help train the hollow position necessary as we build into that vertical position. So we can work on those 3 different variations of handstand against the wall, or we can do some off the box. So we can play around with a couple different options with the box. We can do a knee handstand on the box. So we get ourselves set up, pressing through those shoulders, hips, shoulders, hands, nice and stacked. I'm looking at the box right now, kind of where the box joins the floor. Or if I have the range in my hamstrings, my toes can go in the middle of the box. I walk my hands in, keeping that body nice and straight, pressing through the shoulders, pulling those ribs in, and again, my viewing point is the same. I'm looking towards the box, pressing up, and holding that good position. So I can work on those 2 variations on the box, okay, working on that nice stacked line, hand, shoulder, hip. If I'm not quite comfortable going vertical, but I would like to elevate my body, I can do an elevated plank as well. So my feet will go in the middle of the box. I'm going to get myself set up, and I'm going to set myself up in this nice solid plank position, hands under the shoulders, pressing to the ceiling, pull the ribs in, and I'm holding this nice solid plank position. So I'm nice and stable through this elevated plank, and we can work that elevation to whatever you have at home, to whatever height you need to use. It's just going to load the shoulders just a little bit more than a horizontal plank on the floor. Now, if you don't have anything that you can put your feet up on, that's okay. We can come to the floor and we can work on what we did in our warm-up, which is our floor pike hold. So our floor pike hold is a great option in terms of building that handstand and building that engagement. So as a quick review, my knees come together, my toes curl under, I'm pressing through my shoulders, pull my ribs in, grip the floor, push my hips up into the air as I press into the floor, and I hold this for my time frame. So I'm going to maintain that good, hardy vertical position, hand, elbow, shoulder, hip, all in the straightest alignment I can. I can also tiptoe my feet a little closer to work on that nice vertical position as well. Again, if I'm not comfortable going upside down or inverted, I can also work on my plank. So I can build that nice plank position, pulling my ribs in, press the shoulders up, and holding that good hardy plank as I maintain and I build that skill and strength necessary to get myself slowly moving into that inverted position. So lots of different options for your handstand hold. All of them offer a tremendous opportunity to work on shoulder strength and our core position. So neither is better nor worse. They're just slightly different in terms of our positioning and the load that we're putting towards our shoulders. So pick your adventure, have some fun with it, live with it for every round, and then set your time frame. All right? So we have a quick little recap. We have 15 dumbbell hang power cleans, then a 30 to 60 second handstand hold or variation, 12 hang power cleans, handstand hold, 9 dumbbell hang power cleans, handstand hold, 6 dumbbell hang power cleans, handstand hold, and 3 dumbbell hang power cleans, handstand hold, right? So remember, pick that number, have some fun with that, that handstand hold. It can vary in terms of the time, depending on how your shoulders feel, or you can use that as accumulated time. So I want you to choose your adventure for that handstand so it's challenging, but you can still execute fantastic handstands. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, you guys. Happy Saturday, and I hope you have a lot of fun with this workout. As always, work for quality, have fun. If you have any questions, never hesitate. Throw them our way. We'll be sure to get back to you and answer those questions as soon as we can. Bye, you guys. We'll see you on Monday for some more fun.